everybody, welcome to Equity.Guru's 3-minute hit. Actually, fuck that, this isn't a 3-minute hit, this is probably going to be a 10-minute rant about a company called Media Central. FLYY is the ticker symbol, or at least was the ticker symbol. This thing's toast. A little over a year ago, Media Central came out of nowhere, raised a bit of money, went out on the CSE and claimed that they were going to roll up all the alternative weeklies in North America, modernize them, streamline them, make some money, and return to journalistic values. They had a lot of talk about this kind of stuff of how we're going to get it back to the way it used to be. We're bringing it back to its heart, was the quote from CEO Brian Kalish, who looks like the kind of guy who would start a corporation to wrap up alternative weeklies around North America. He said that, hey guys, we know the Georgia Strait's been around for 53 years, but we're bringing it back to its heart. I think we're going to take what they've built and make them better. We now have readers across the country. We just completed a financing to support how we'll develop and build out our business. And we'll also get back to basics on the editorial side. He said, we know that people don't go to the Georgia Straight to peruse ads. So what happened next? Well, within 2 months, they'd integrated editorial with marketing and sales and had spun off a couple of websites, one about cannabis, one about esports, and done some deals with a health content company to throw their content into the pages of the Georgia Straight. 16 ways a mole could make you less sexy. Anyway, it all went downhill from there. They said they were going to buy up every alternative weekly in North America. They ended up with 2, and they drove those into the dirt. The spin-outs stopped doing any spinning out of content in April, March this year. And now the Georgia Straight has been sold to a company called Overstory Media Group, OMG being the shortened side of that. OMG is run by the guys that started the Daily Hive in Vancouver, which was an online alternative daily, I guess, hourly, minutely. But it did pretty well in terms of generating content and wrapping it into marketing. Not averse to sponsoring an arts event, not averse to going out there and finding what people are interested in and writing a story about it, whether it be news or not. They figured out how to do it right. So the Georgia Straight is now in their hands. There's lots of jumping up and down online about how this is going to be great for the Straight. Chances are it's not. I don't think what people are used to from the old Straight is what's going to happen when it's tied into an online buzz factory. But the one thing I did want to point out is the lessons that can be learned from FLYY. And the first lesson is, look, it's possible to make money doing journalism, but you have to actually be committed to journalism, right? Like, I've got a couple of awards. I've been doing it for a little while. Yeah, I'm involved in marketing of what people call penny stocks, high risk, high reward shares. But there's no secret about that. We're not hiding the fact. We don't tell anyone to buy or sell. We actually go and do the journalism. We do the investigative work, even of companies that are sponsors, to show people what are the positives and what are the negatives of those companies. What are the chances that you might make money investing in them, or maybe you shouldn't invest in them? Like, if we stop doing journalism, this business ceases to be. And even now, in the midst of a real downward market, we continue to get companies that come to us and want us to tell their stories because we've built this thing on legitimacy, on honesty, on integrity. And at least half the companies out there in the small cap space are actually trying to build themselves into something that remotely resembles a going concern. Yes, there's a lot of risk in high risk, high reward. Yes, there are a lot of companies that try and hit the moon and end up going the other way. Can't be helped. Nature of the beast. If everything was a success, it wouldn't be high risk, high reward. It would be no risk, high reward. So, when people get involved in stocks that we talk about, we hope that we can help them go in with eyes wide open. That's the game. But if you take journalism and you strip away that integrity and that trustworthiness and that loyalty to the audience first, as opposed to those who are advertising first, what you're left with is marketing. There's no editorial / marketing. It's just marketing. There's no journalism / marketing. It's just marketing. Being kind of a journalist is like being kind of pregnant. You either is or you ain't. And for us, the journalism here is the key to our entire business model. Even though we're talking about an industry that, makes a living out of sometimes being shonky, we retain our journalistic integrity. And because of that, we remain profitable. Now, I worked at the Vancouver Sun and Province newspapers back in the day, and the marketing department pushing in on an editorial was so constant and so hard. And even if you had good journalism at its core, the Sun always ran the editorial pages, which turned that journalism inside out for political and corporate interests, and really underdug everything that was good about the enterprise. When journalism becomes about this only, it dies. And when people come in with this and say, hey, we respect your journalistic integrities, but we're going to shift it along here a little bit outside the lines of what is journalism, it's a recipe for disaster. It does not ever work. Now, I understand that you've got to make money somewhere, but when your business is your integrity, when people are coming to you and trusting you because of your integrity, you can't then slice your integrity off and still expect people to come. You have to speak truth to power. You have to be there for the reader and the reader only, and people will attach their advertising to that. Yeah, I know they want advertorial. Yeah, I know they want journalism that's gussied up a little bit for certain parties that pay for it. But it's a snake that eats its own tail. It doesn't work over the long term. The moment you've lost the trust of the readers, there's 60,000 other places where they can get their information. They will only stay with you if they trust you and if they see you doing the work to protect them. That is journalism, right? And good journalism brings an audience, and you can hang any ads you want off the back of that. That's how you make the money. You don't make the money by pretending the journalism isn't actually journalism, it is actually marketing. So Media Central had it wrong from the beginning. I'm glad that the moment they hit the market with their plan, Equity.Guru stood up and said, screw these guys. It would have been easy for me to go and get money from them to promote them because I'm a journalist and they're in journalism. It would have been an easy mix. But we could see that they were dog shit. We put our hands up in June 2020 and said, this will never work. This is terrible. Countdown clock is now commencing to the end of this company. And as of today, 29th of September, now, as for the Georgia Strait, what future does it have? It's not going to be the sunshine and rainbows that a lot of old-time Georgia Strait readers wish. It will be better. I imagine the people that are taking it over now understand it a bit better than the guys that just ran it into the ground. But there's really nothing they're buying other than the masthead. The staff, they ain't coming along. It likely is going to be moving away from print and moving to an online-only entity. That's my prediction, and I've been right about this thing so far. So that's the end of my rant. Media Central, see you later. Brian Kalish, I'll be watching where you land next with your next cockamamie scheme. And for those that are really desperately looking for the arts listings and the trans escort listings, I don't know, man. I guess back to Craigslist. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't done already, and you enjoyed any part of this righteous rant on journalism and public companies, do hit the subscribe button there so you get more of what we do. It's a little thing, and it doesn't cost you anything. And the next time I have something righteous and indignant to say, to speak truth to power, maybe you'll get a little alert there in your YouTube screen that shows you. Either way, thanks for watching.